AP the Realtor here. I'm here with my team member, Kayde Wiggins from the Baldwin office with Fave Realty. We're here with another segment of Apply Pressure with AP. So, Kayde, recently, we're in a tricky market. We're in tricky times. Interest rates are above 8%. A lot of people have been asking me, Andrew, how are you selling houses in this market? What buyers are buying houses in this market? And, I've been thinking about it. I've been listening to different people conversate about it. And honestly, one thing that really caught me that I heard was that, imagine if tomorrow interest rates were to drop to 6%. What do you think will happen to the prices?
It'll go up.
It's going to shoot up. So as a buyer that's seriously looking to become a homeowner in this market, my opinion is what better time to jump into this market than right now. Right now, the buyers that I'm working with, we're getting them, we're negotiating them, prices much under asking. A lot of these homes that are listed right now are dropping anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 on the asking price. A lot of buyers are negotiating sellers concessions. So, with that being said, right now, although the rates are higher, my personal opinion is as a buyer, it's the best time to try to negotiate a better deal for yourself before the rates happen to go down, and that then causes the prices to increase.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree, because honestly, if the prices, it's best to buy a house at like a lower rate than have an increase. Well, say if you buy a house and the interest rate is high, it's best to buy a house at the interest rate is high than the price of the home is high, because the interest rate fluctuates.
Exactly.
You can always do a refinance,
exactly.
Right?
And one of the things, like just to touch on that, is that one thing that we always say is that you're gonna date the payment and marry the home, right? So what that means, it sounds funny, but it's true. So the home is permanent. You know what I mean? If you see a home that you like and the location that you like has all your, wants, that's permanent. You're married to that home. But that 8% rate or that, $4,000 payment is temporary.
Right.
Eventually the rates will correct itself. And if you are smart enough to jump into the market now at a comfortable payment for yourself, because that's really what matters too.
Yeah.
Most buyers that are buying right now are just focusing on affordability. Whether it's a 9%, 6% rate, can I afford it? That's the question. So, with that being said, as long as you could afford it, and then if the rates happen to correct itself, you will end up with a much lower payment and end up in a more comfortable situation.
Exactly.
So, for you buyers out there that are on the fence, call us. We're here. We could guide you. Cardinal Financial, our preferred lenders. They're putting people in very good, situations at this moment. And honestly, you just gotta, you gotta kind of not pay attention to what everybody else is saying and just think about what's best for you.
Yeah,
right?
What is your goal? Do you want home ownership?
100%.
Is this something that you really want? If it is, you have to take that leap. You have to take that step. Nothing worth having isn't going to come easy, 100%. But I feel like taking risk, this is the risk you want to take.
Agreed. So Kayde, you're new with Fave Realty. You've been with us maybe a couple months now. I know you have been licensed for a while. I just want to kind of pick your brain on. I know you've seen the market, kind of pre-COVID, after COVID. You've been with different brokerages. You're now new with our team. Are there any differences that you see, with working with Fave Realty as opposed to any other brokerages?
Absolutely. I see that you guys are actually not gatekeepers. If there's something that new agents need to know, you guys are really honest to know these things. You guys are very helpful, very resourceful.
100%.
I've been I've only been with one other company, I won't say,
Yeah,
but
I'm not gonna say any names.
No, there was a lot of gatekeeping. It was a lot of, I felt like I was closed out from information that I'm getting here. And it's almost like, oh, do they know I'm they're just giving me all this information? It's kind of shocking. But I'm actually grateful that I've actually,
Made that switch.
Fate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody that was with a different brokerage too. And, to your point that, a lot of things that new agents or even agents that are already licensed but haven't had much success don't realize is important for their career is the resources. It is the knowledge. It is the support. It's the, being able to get an answer to a question at the drop of a dime, having, the right resources to make the right decisions.
Right.
And, being taught how to create a business for yourself. Like you said, a lot of companies, they bring you on, but they kind of don't want you to learn as much so that they could kind of take things to the next level. We're here at Fave Realty, our biggest thing is, of course we want to succeed, but we want everyone around us to succeed. So, that's definitely something that we pride ourselves on. So yeah, so that's a great point that we just touched on. I know you're heavy into fashion. You have that entrepreneur in you. What made you want to do the real estate side of business and entrepreneurship?
I was actually in real estate before I even knew it. My grandfather moved from Scotland. Well, my great grandfather moved from Scotland to Jamaica, and he bought a lot of land, and it kind of like trickled down to my dad, my uncles, and like my dad, he owned properties in Jamaica. He does real estate in Jamaica. I was kind of like his bookkeeper. I didn't know. I just felt like I was helping my dad.
Grew up in it, yeah. Which
so
is good.
I had a love for it without even knowing like, oh, this could be something I can do here. It doesn't have to. And then eventually, that would be my game plan to like open my own brokerage in Jamaica. But yeah, that's how I got into real estate. I love it. It's something I'm passionate about, and I'll see what the future has for me.
That's pretty cool because your family took advantage of the opportunity, and your your grandfather was able to create some generational wealth, probably without even necessarily that being the plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that goes back to what we were speaking about before about buying real estate. A lot of people want to wait to buy real estate, but what you should actually do is do what her grandfather did, is just buy real estate and wait. Because at the end of the day, you never know what the future holds.
Right.
And, you just starting now, building a foundation for your family, who knows what, that could turn into, 10, 20, 30 years from now. So I think that's huge. And I think that's something that us as, the younger generation, we should take advantage of and, continue that, without a doubt. Now, as far as the being a real estate agent, I guess what were some of the reasons that you wanted to maybe start helping people to buy homes as well, other than investing in things of that nature?
It's kind of weird, but out of all my friends, I wouldn't say all of them. This is gonna go public, but majority of my friends, like their family don't own homes, and that was kind of shocking to me. And I was just thinking, like, why not? And I realized that some things weren't taught to a lot of people. They probably don't feel or know that they're capable, or they just don't know. They're not knowledgeable on it. So home ownership is very important, and I feel like that certain culture are stripped from it. So I just want to like be that bridge basically, to connect people, let them know like, hey, it's attainable.
It's possible. And that's a good point. To piggyback on that, I mean, a lot of people don't realize the opportunity that they have. A lot of people think that home ownership is not attainable. A lot of people aren't knowledgeable to know that, you just need 3.5% down to buy a home. If you have, decent income, 2 years of employment, some credit, you might be able to buy a home, you know what I mean? And like you said, a lot of people just aren't aware of that. And especially in New York, people are paying a lot of money for rent, so, when you sit back and think about all the money you might have spent, all the money you might have exhausted, if you would have taken a couple steps backwards and maybe, took the, right steps to become a homeowner, you'd probably be paying the same thing in mortgage. I mean, in your mortage as opposed to your rent. Exactly. And, you'll have an opportunity to make money, depending on the home. You could maybe rent the basement.
Right.
You could create a, mother-daughter situation, get a 2-family home. So, people look at, the numbers and this, that, and the third, but they don't think about ways to make it make sense for themselves. And I think that's kind of where we come into play as a real estate agent, to try to, teach them and let them know what is possible and that it is attainable, without a doubt. So I'm bad at this.
Are you? Let me think.
So
I want to know what got you into real estate.
Got you. So as far as me, I was introduced to real estate a long time ago. I was a teenager. A friend of mine actually worked for a mortgage company such as Cardinal Financial. And this is, pre-2008. So this is like the wild, wild west. A lot of refis was going on. The industry was very, very different.
Yeah.
So, my friend, who was a little bit older than us, by at least 5 years older than us, he would come back to the neighborhood and get me and a couple other friends and bring us to the office to make phone calls. We would cold call at a young age, and we would pretty much reach out to homeowners that had existing mortgages and try to get them to refi into lower interest rates. That's really how I got introduced to real estate to begin with. Fast forward, life happens. I have a daughter at a young age. I end up with a normal, regular job. And, coincidentally, I meet somebody at my job that I had. And he's like, you ever thought about becoming a real estate agent? And I'm like, nah, never really thought about it. He was like, oh, well, I see how you dealing with these customers. I see how you moving around. He was like, I actually just sold a house. I'm leaving my car here for service and I'm going on vacation with my family. He's like, I think you should look into it. I'm like, okay, whatever. A couple days later, another friend, a friend of mine that used to work with me comes in to my job. And I'm like, hey, what you doing now? She's like, I'm doing real estate. I'm working with my father. I'm like, wow, you like the second person to, tell me that they're doing real estate. So at that point is when I really decided to take the step to get my license. Mm-hmm. And, from there, it's just, kind of been up ever since. Once I got my license, I was confident that I would have some type of success. I knew that, once I put my mind to it, I definitely could sell a house or two. And then the pandemic hit. And that's kind of when I pivoted over to Fave Realty, because where I was, the business kind of slowed down. And, we're here now. We're here now applying pressure with AP, So, it's one of those things. I mean, I love real estate. Now I'm able to do it full time, and, it's been a blessing. It's, I could take my kids to school in the morning. I make my own schedule, which is a good thing and a bad thing. You got to be disciplined, because you got some people that become full time in this industry and they end up not doing any work at all, where I kind of did the opposite. You know what I mean? I had complete freedom, but I wanted to make sure that I produce, you know what I mean? So I almost, worked more than I was working before. But, I'm doing something that I like, so it doesn't really feel like work. And like I tell you and all the other agents, I kind of just focused on the work, focused on putting that, the grind in. And, success just happens to follow when you put work in. You know what I mean? So it goes back to mindset. You know what I mean? That's a conversation we've had on this podcast before. Mindset is everything.
What does a typical day of a full-time agent looks like? Because I know new agents that are transitioning over. Mm-hmm. They're probably curious.
Great question. Yeah, no, great question. And that was a struggle I had at first going full-time, because it's like, nobody's really telling you how to get through your day. You kind of have to figure out different tasks. You have to discipline yourself, put your phone down, and lock in. So I think depending on the day, some days, you have days where you're just in the field. You know what I mean? You might have listing appointments, showings, inspections, whatever the case may be. But as far as like an office day, I would just pretty much start my morning by going through my CRM, seeing if there's any tasks that I might have for the day. Once I complete those tasks, I'm also going to go through, my current buyers that I'm working with. I'm going to go through, hot prospects, contact a couple of nurtures that might be interested in the next 6 to 12 months. Once I'm through with that, I might, then prospect maybe for new business, you know what I mean? Whether it's, call a couple sellers, reach out to some of my buyer leads that I might have. After that, depending on the situation, it's the key as a full-time agent is to really just plan your day out. And each day could be different. You might have a day where you want to do content where we're here. This isn't a schedule. This is part of a full-time agent. You know what I mean? So morning, you might do some prospecting follow-ups. Then you have content. You got to put it, put an hour or two to the side for, you know what I mean? Whether you want to do some door knocking. The key is time blocking. Right. That's really the key. It's really just saying to yourself, okay, from 9 to 11, I'm going to do this. From 11 to 12, I'm going to do this, and so forth, and sticking to it. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy. Again, we don't have a boss. We don't have a manager.
It's all on you.
Yeah, so it's very easy to get sidetracked. It's very easy to be like, that could wait. It's very easy to just pick up your phone and end up scrolling through Instagram. Yeah. So discipline is everything. Discipline is freedom. And I think once you have the discipline, then, your day comes a little easier because you're able to really
lock in.
Exactly. And plan your day out. And so, I would say the important thing for a full-time agent is scheduling and time blocking, 100%. Now, as a part-time agent, what do you think are maybe some struggles that you might be having to, maybe get your business to the level that you want to get it to? Because I've worked part-time before. It was hard for me before, and I've also had success part-time. You know what I mean? So What do you think might be stopping you from getting to that next level of being a, maybe a 6-figure part-time agent?
Underestimating the capacity of like what the day can bring. So say if you have 2 jobs, you're trying to get your like your 9 to 5 everything done before you hit real estate. Sometimes it doesn't actually work out that way. You should like try to maneuver where you can interact both at the same time. Easy said than done. So say that you're waiting for a meeting to start, they move the meeting, this is perfect time to like do some calls.
Exactly.
So it's
taking advantage of your free time.
Right. Like saying, oh, I'll do my 9 to 5, and then real estate after, especially if you have the leverage to work from home, take advantage of it, because
100%.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. And scheduling too, I think, is a big part, especially as a part-time agent. It's kind of hard to lock in maybe as much as you would want to. So, maybe picking 3-4 days out the week to say, okay, from 5 to 8, this is what I'm on. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do, reach out to sellers. I'm gonna do follow-ups. I'm gonna do, social media content, whatever it is. And I think, once you, again, apply the work, the success tends to come. And I think a lot of agents, new agents and experienced agents, get caught up in wanting success. We all want success, but the problem in this industry is that the success isn't just given to you. You know what I mean? You definitely got to go for it. You definitely got to put in the right steps, have the right mindset, and the success will find you. You know what I mean? So I know for sure, next time, we have Kayde on this podcast, we're going to be talking about all her closings. She's definitely very active right now. She's putting in work. So yeah, so once again, thank you for Kayde for joining us. It's another segment of Apply Pressure with AP featuring Kayde Wiggins. Make sure you follow us both on Instagram. My Instagram is APNYGroup_RE. I'm sure it's going to be on the screen right here somewhere. Kayde, your Instagram?
It's Lady Kayde, LAYDE KAYDE.
We're out of here. Fave Realty, Apply Pressure with AP.